Yes, it's a massive, massive challenge that lies ahead for these two nations, and no question that Stephen Kearney was ever going to hide anything from this. It's a test match, it's against the Australians, it's on home soil. Here's the Australian national anthem, and it's going to be sung by Talitha Webster.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. Page, let every stage advance Australia fair. Enjoy the strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Rousing end to the national anthem from Talitha Webster. Cameron Smith, the Australian captain tonight. And, well, I'm told this is Grace Ickenazio, but I don't think it is. That's the name that I have here on a piece of paper that says this guy is going to sing the national anthem. Well, obviously Grace Ickenazio got the red card, and she was replaced by a local star, Shay Fu, who sung the New Zealand national anthem. Well, 1988 World Cup final, the biggest game in New Zealand Rugby League history at that point, and the Kiwis carried the expectations of a nation upon their shoulders. They carry that expectation again here tonight. It was too big a burden for them in 1988. Will it come back to haunt them here this evening? We shall see. Just listen to this crowd. Get behind them now as they perform the haka and throw down the gauntlet to those Aussies. performed more vigorously than that. Apologies that we might have lost a little bit of the sound of that from our host broadcaster here in New Zealand, but I think you got the picture. I think you got the message. This is what they have all been waiting for in this part of the world. So let's go to commentary. We have Sean McRae, Phil Clark and Steve-O in there. And the first voice you'll hear, there's an Englishman, by the way, Richard Silverwood in the middle. But the first voice you'll hear, another proud Englishman, it's Bill Arthur.
And what a night at Eden Park. If this is a dead rubber, a non-event ahead of next weekend in Brisbane, then I can't wait for next weekend, because the atmosphere here is absolutely crackling. A lot of speculation as to just how this game would go down in Auckland. Here at Eden Park, bastion of All Black rugby. Absolutely no doubt about the reception here tonight. Sir Jim Doyle, the Scotsman who's an adopted Kiwi and now the chief executive of the New Zealand Rugby League, saying just a short time ago that 44,000 were in the ground and there were still people queuing outside to get in. Such is the interest in this, because when it comes down to it, this is still New Zealand against Australia, and about to get underway. Richard Silverwood blows the whistle, and the game is on between these two great rivals.
And it should be a big hit-up. The Kiwis want to get right into the faces of the Australians.
Of course, Stephen Kearney, as Eddie was saying, picking his potentially strongest lineup. Tim Sheens may be playing ducks and drakes with his. No Darren Lockyer, of course. Billy Slater, another absentee. Willie Tonga, Luke Lewis, Nate Miles, all left out. But look at the replacements. The International Player of the Year, Todd Carney, among those out there.
Go.
But it's Australia in possession.
Okay, outside.
And there is Carney with the good deep kick, but into the arms of Lance Ahaya for the Kiwis.
Look at the speed of the chase. Absolutely superb from the green and golds. So much pressure upon the New Zealanders, though. They are the current world champions, and all the press this week has been saying this is a night they've got to show the world that they still are the best in rugby league.
But they're up against an Australian side that is out to improve. Tim Sheens not impressed with the performances from his sides over the last few weeks. He won't be impressed with that, conceding the first penalty of the game either. Hand in there, says referee Silverwood. Was injured last weekend, missed the action, but fit again and able to take charge, and jointly named as International Referee of the Year with Tony Archer, the man who refereed England last week.
Came in a little bit late, didn't he? Shillington did not miss, then messed around at the play of the ball.
That's good defence from the Aussies. Strongly up, and Gallen as ever leading the charge for them, Ben Gallen. But his opposite number there, Jeremy Smith, with a good run.
Such an important factor is the fact that the Wigan player Thomas Luluwai is down there at the dummy half. He'll set things up. The Kiwis quite
dead ball line to be a goal line dropout.
Wonderful pressure by the Australians. They really have opened up very, very quickly indeed. Look at the speed of that and the swinging arm from Nathan Feen. Darius Boyd, to his credit, got up off the ground, played the ball. A-OK as far as Richard Silverwood, the official, is concerned. And this is more pressure. This has to be a deep one. They're taking their time. Clock stopped.
Do you think it's an initiation test, Sean, for wingers and fullback, that early kick return when everyone's sprinting at you?
Yes, I certainly think it is. I think they're going to test plenty of people out, but I think, you know, Darius Boyd came out of that all right from fullback, and I think, you know, they're just been quicker, haven't they, Australia, overall? With everything they're doing, they're playing the ball much faster. They're linking the hands very, very well. They've got excellent shape in attack.
Bird plays the ball in the second row. His previous two caps have been at standoff as Australia again spin the ball out wide. Boyd gets the ball away in the tackle.
Stand up three. Up now.
But Morris had to retreat to collect it. Carney, Thaiday now.
Surrender.
Sam Thaiday has had an outstanding series so far for Australia. Cronk, Matt Scott on his debut, charging onto the ball.
Surely a dribble into the in-goal line.
It's in the hands of Cooper Cronk. Little chip kick over the top, too strong.
Tim Sheens will be upset with that. That was a great build-up, and he knows it. Raises the arm. Cooper Cronk, sorry, far too strong. But the execution of getting them into this position, as Sean McRae has mentioned, the Australians quick at getting across the advantage line.
Kiwis get their hands on the ball after quite some time to do a lot of defending.
Surrender! Stand up! Hold!
And now Australia will look to pin them down, but that's a big hit that Jeremy Smith ricochets off. More by luck than judgment.
That's much better. Quickly play the ball, scooting away.
Hold! Go!
Here is Frank Paul Nuisala.
Move! Hold the 10, wait! Wait!
Just inside his own half and slowly to his feet.
Outside, kick it clear!
And then Nathan Feen puts the kick in just before he gets clattered by Cameron Smith. And then he and Cameron Smith in back play, just exchanging words.
Hold!
Just shows you the importance, though, that Australia, their defence, are putting the pressure on. You can see at the second play of the ball, they're nearly in the New Zealand half.
Hold! Go!
This is a pressure from Smith. Nothing wrong with it.
Referee Silverwood has penalised New Zealand.
Swinging arm.
High shot, says the referee from England. He's got a fair chance of taking charge of the final. Neutral referee for Australia against New Zealand.
Yeah, Jeremy Smith far too high with his swinging left arm. Interesting to see how Australia using Shillington out wide, way out in the centres. Such a big unit.
Plays the ball, Cameron Smith, then Cooper Cronk.
Two! And now Jeremy!
Again, the Kiwis are backtracking.
Hold! Go!
Here is Thaiday, and Thaiday motoring onto that ball. Stop 5 metres out.
Go!
Another opportunity for the Aussies, who lead by 6 points to 0.
4! Move!
Kiwis back on their own try line defending this.
Go!
After a bright start, they've been under the cosh. The little chip kick from Cameron Smith. Benji Marshall just able to watch that one go dead.
Oh, not happy with it, Benji Marshall. Putting a lot of pressure by Todd Carney. Plenty of verbals going on out there. No love lost. Why should there be? Two great nations. Oh, that's a high one there from Shillington. It's got to be a penalty.
And it's been simmering, and the lid might be about to come off this. Referee Silverwood just strolling over, the calmest man out there at the moment.
That's great relief for the Kiwis. They've been put under a lot of pressure, and the swinging arm of Shillington has given them at least 30 or 40 metres downfield.
Well, I actually thought Australia might come out, might be on the receiving end of the strong arm tactics, but they've actually come out and been a little more aggressive, I think, than the New Zealand side.
Wait.
Well, that's just a tackle gone wrong. I don't, you know, he's just gone too high, and penalties fair enough. And Richard Silverwood's done a very good job just to calm it down.
And now David!
Well, 22 years ago, when these two met in that famous final, it was the Kiwis who were swinging, and it all went wrong for them. Now it's the Kiwis going forward for the first time for some time. Luluai, who was tackled. Smith tackled on the 20-metre line, struggling to get to his feet, looking for the penalty. It is. Gallen taking an eternity. How ironic. Tim Sheens complaining about the game being slowed down last week. Now his men just trying to do that.
Well, that surprises me. They're going to go for the two. They've had very little opportunity to apply pressure to the Australian defence. There's an old school adage, I suppose, in many ways, that you get the opportunity. This is a wonderful run by Thomas Luluai. Got back in numbers.
Nathan.
And then you see Paul Gallen roll right over the top. Nothing that Jeremy Smith could do about that.
Well, the previous game between these two this year was a low-scoring affair. 12-8 it ended in favour of Australia, and goal-kicking was the difference that night. maybe the Kiwis have learnt from that and thought whenever we get an opportunity for 2 points, we must take them. But I'm with you. I'm a touch surprised that they've gone for it at this stage. You've got to get it now, don't you? Pressure's on.
Well, here's a man who can handle the pressure, Benji Marshall. It was Jamie Lyon who handled the pressure in that 12-8 victory for the Kangaroos in May. His goal kicking proving the difference. 2 tries apiece that night. Well, now it's 2 points to 6 here, and New Zealand get their first points on the board. Let's go down to the sidelines. Brian Carney down there.
Well, Bill, we talk about the conveyor belt of talent that comes out of Australia. David Shillington and Matthew Scott just coming off the field after a good 18 minutes from each, and look what they bring on. The veteran Petro Civoniceva and Tom Leroy-Lars. We've just been watching them warm up down here. They're talking to each other. They're very, very up for it, and I think you can see that in the body language of these Australian players tonight.
Well, on backwards.
Frank Paul Nuasala has come up with the error there, and Australia have it back on the Kiwi 10-metre line. Right from the restart, they've coughed up possession, and it's in the hands of Paul Gallen now. Gallen across that 20-metre line. Now he turns and goes looking for some more company, and he finds some.
Well, that was a big mistake. Nuasala offloading within your own quarter.
Here is
suicide.
Civoniceva, his first touch of the ball. The big Fijian-born player, 34 years of age, the senior citizen of this Australian side. And they're right on that try line now. New Zealand just got points on the board. Now they could concede some more. Boyd just short. On the last. Little grubber kick goes in. Thaiday is chasing it. And eventually Lance Ahaya, I think it is, manages to get a hold of the ball.
Very lucky indeed. You can't afford to let the ball bounce all over the place. That really was fortunate for the Kiwis. And it just shows you the error. Remember, the penalty given away by Nathan Fien allowed them for Cronk to score the try. The offload by Frank Paul Nuasala has allowed Australia to get that possession, and now they are under pressure. And that's the reason why I found it very, very surprising that the Kiwis went for the penalty for the 2 points. Look at the numbers there. Nowhere for the fullback to go.
Darius Boyd underneath that goal line dropout, which reaches the halfway line, and Tom Leroy-Lars gets a big welcome as he charges back with the ball. Canberra Raiders player plays it. Here is Petro Civoniceva again. Such a gentleman off the field and so mild-mannered. And then he gets out there in that green and gold shirt and is a different beast. Here is Sam Thaiday. That ball looked forward, certainly to Kiwi eyes. Around us it did. Cameron Smith has to scoop and pick that up from between his toes, and Gallen is there. Ball out wide to Tate. Tate takes that and takes it away to Morris, and Morris is in for a second try. And they made that look so simple, so easy, but so smooth. And Brent Tate, under pressure as he got the ball, managed to still get it away to Brett Morris, and he gets into double figures for his country and extends Australia's lead to 10 points to 2.
All sorts of problems for this Kiwi defence. Stephen Kearney knows he's got to sort it all out. If you take a gamble to come out of it, you've got to have someone to fill in. And I'm afraid Junior Sau was very slow to switch to the outside. Beautiful inside run, power. And he comes out of the line, you've got to make sure he doesn't offload, and that's the reason why Morris is sneak in. Great work by Brent Tate. But this defence is all at sea at the moment with the Kiwis. They're allowing the Australians to get over the advantage line, quick play the balls. They're controlling this game completely.
And they're having a bit of a council of war behind their own try line there are the Kiwis, because they are trailing here on home soil, weight of expectation on their shoulders. And they're being given the runaround by Australia. Brett Morris, who got both the tries in their 12-8 win against New Zealand in May, on target. And can Cameron Smith add the extras? Another one out wide, but favouring his round-the-corner style. We really haven't seen anything from this New Zealand side going forward. He's landed it. Cameron Smith adds the extras, and Australia lead by 12 points to 2 here at Eden Park.
Well, there's a try scorer, and it's difficult times for Stephen Kearney. He knows it. Mistakes, penalties given away, and they are suffering by the fact that Australia are controlling this game, and that's out on the full. That is a schoolboy error.
The fact is, Steve, when you turn over cheap ball against any opposition, you're going to be in bother. When you turn it over against quality opposition like the Australian side, they're going to build pressure, and they're going to go for the jugular, and that's what they're going to do now. They're going to do exactly the same thing. If they can't score off this set, they're going to try and get a repeat set, and they're just going to try and create a greater fatigue factor in this New Zealand side.
Oh, turn all the way, Benji. Hold.
So much hope vested in this New Zealand side. People saying it's the best for a long time.
Hold. Go.
But maybe they're not being able to handle that expectation. It's the expectation, the sort of expectation that Australia have to live with all the time. And they're coming charging forward again with Sam Thaiday. The pass from Cooper Cronk.
The two halfbacks, Carney and Cronk, they're controlling things out there. Switch to the blind.
Tate is looking for the try. Has he got that ball down? Referee Silverwood takes a good look at it, and yes, back-to-back tries. And Brent Tate, who set up that try for Brett Morris just a short time ago, extends their lead. And it's all down to the kick-off going straight out on the full from Benji Marshall. And as Sean was saying, they've made them pay for it.
And not only that, Sam Perrott again coming out of the line, going far too high. Look at that. You've got to make sure you get him. Tate gets it down. Good positioning by the English referee, Richard Silverwood. The Aussies, they are striding forward. They've stunned this huge crowd here at Eden Park.
Looks of concern on the face of the Kiwi players there.
It's difficult when you're free falling down a mountain as the Kiwis are at the moment to stop that fall, but somebody somehow has to do that at the present. The game isn't over, but the score line and the scoreboard is going completely against you, and it's deja vu for so many Kiwi fans who came here 22 years ago. Australia blew them away in the first half, and it's important now somehow they've got to stop the rot in the next 6 tackles.
Cameron Smith looking to add another conversion from the touchline to goal. The try by Brent Tate, who has now scored in all games in this Four Nations series so far. And Cameron Smith just composing himself again. It's 7 years since the Kiwis beat Australia here on home soil. And they really did fancy their chances this evening at Eden Park. But with Cameron Smith landing another touchline conversion, the prospects of ending that run are fading. Already, long way to go here, but such is the domination of Australia so far in this game.
Spot on. You're spot on, Bill, in mainly due to the fact the Kiwis, the offload, came about and they got a try. The penalty by Nathan Feen, they got a try. The kick-off straight into touch, and they've come up with a try. If you're not going to do the basics right, you're going to be on the end of a hiding.
The only way you'll stop the hemorrhaging is get the football. You have to have the ball in your hands. New Zealand, I don't think have touched the ball for the last 5 minutes, and it's just difficult. It's a difficult game to play anyway, but it's awfully hard to defend and defend and defend.
And that's why I keep going back to the fact that they went for the 2 points when they'd hardly had any attacking pressure on Australia. It's weird.
Eastwood is on the field for the Kiwis, the former Leeds man, as Cronk gets the kick away into the hands of Jason Nightingale. Nightingale, who ended the regular season a grand final winner with St George Illawarra, getting 2 tries in that win against the Roosters.
2, up now, hold, go.
Here goes Sean Kenny-Dowell, the RLIF Centre of the Year.
Go.
The only Kiwi award winner, in fact, in that ceremony.
Held 4, Luton!
Pritchard on the field and getting the penalty. And blimey, they needed that, did the Kiwis. Side 8 not convinced.
Well, this is where they've got to calm things down. They've been hit with a cavalcade of quality and skill factor from the Aussies. No doubt about it. Messing around, bit of a grapple tackle, made a meal of it.
Eastwood. They need this to be a good set to the Kiwis, not necessarily to put points on the board, just to get Australia turned round, but they could be better than that as Blair makes a hole in the middle. Now off goes Tommy Luluai. Luluai struggling to get to his feet with big Petro Sivanasiva all over him. Jeremy Smith stumbles into the tackle. 4 of them gone. Australia on their own try line for a change. Marshall across the field as he does so often. Now straightens it up for Junior Sau.
He was stood still though with Sau when he received that ball. He should have been coming on at a burst.
Crossfield kick drilled in there. Nathan Feen was chasing it and he did well. They'll get the ball back. That's good progress.
Good play from both sides. Beautifully weighted kick. Cooper Cronk read it well. First time they've really applied the pressure, and the half-back has done his job superbly.
And now you get a feeling you're in the game. Forget about the scoreboard, but now you get a feeling that you're back in the game here, because you've just had a set of 6, you've now got an opportunity to have another set. Just keep building pressure, eventually you score.
Cameron Smith restarts, taken on the halfway line by Lance Hohaya, and now Ben Matulino into the action.
First, and now, move, hold, go.
Luluai, Eastwood again, and Eastwood hitting that one at pace. And the crowd lifting. Feen, here is Benji Marshall, and they get the ball wide. Oh, it's going to come to Nightingale, but he's put it down.
Golden opportunity there. They had them stretched.
Came off an Australian hand though here, so there's still excitement in the crowd here. Kangaroo hand got to the ball, I think after Marshall passes it. Exciting play, they swing it wide, there's a hand there, is it Takiri? That's the reason maybe why Kenny Dale couldn't take it in. This is danger times here now for the Kangaroos to defend their own line.
But it's sustained defending for Australia to do now, having had the Kiwis on the rack. Hohaya involved in things, and Marshall, that familiar skip and step, and Junior Sau now, more strength from him.
Hold, go.
Perrett decides to go on his own across the field, but losing a bit of ground there.
Go.
Luluai, Kiwi is the chant, and here is Greg Eastwood, and Eastwood quickly to his feet to play the ball. Short ball to Jeremy Smith, and he is stopped just short of the try line. It's the Kangaroos' turn to scramble in defence. Sivanasiva all over him. Nathan Feen now. Feen. Little kick stabbed in. Ricochets back to Sean Kenny-Dow, and it's 6 to go. Well, they wanted a decent bite of the cherry. They're getting it now with the Kiwis. Luluai serves the ball up to Madalino, and he's in! Frank Pritchard it is! They've got the try they so desperately needed. And Frank Pritchard charging over, bursting through the Kangaroos' last line of defence. And that is a lifeline to this Kiwi side.
Good play on that short blind side. You could see that the Australians, they didn't move up. What a lunge with the left arm. Superb by Pritchard. And the crowd go mad. Go on, you Frankie boy, they needed that. It looked as though this game was slipping away. They needed a try, and the big fella has come up with it.
Frank Pritchard, who celebrated his 27th birthday earlier this week. A present there that has lifted the spirits of the crowd here at Eaton Park.
It's going to be a tough night for Todd Carney, the number 6 for Australia. You know, in the previous 2 games, the Kiwis have gone to their left-hand side of the field more than twice as much to the right, but I think even more so tonight, they've targeted Carney. He's going to have all the big weapons fired at him.
Marshall on target. New Zealand 8, Australia 18.
Now that they've scored a try and they've got the momentum, it's a great opportunity to introduce Isaac Luke. Thomas Lulai's done a fantastic job. With 10 minutes left on the, or about 9 minutes or so to go, bring Isaac Luke on much quicker out of dummy half, can cause some damage.
Yeah, it'd be a wise move, and I'm sure that Stephen Keenan may be thinking about it very hard indeed. The Australians taking their time. Great support here.
Down on the sidelines is Brian Carney.
Well, Bill, you guys called it exactly right. You can't really get a feeling from up there, or even maybe watching on TV. But when you spoke about the power shift, you could see the body language change in the players, and you could see the Kiwi players lift a bit, and the Aussies realise that they were under the pump and start falling off the tackles a little and doing it a little tough. There has been a major change, and I think New Zealand could really do with a try just before half-time to really tighten it up just before they go into the break.
8 minutes to go in this first half, and here is Ben Matulino. There's a choice between him and Bronson Harrison for the last place on the bench. Matulino got the nod.
They've upped the tempo, those the Kiwis, and they knew they had to.
They've got their hands on the ball.
Well, there's Luke. As Sean McRae said, he could change the game all on his own. That was great pressure, and they've got it back.
Still on the last, though. Referee says it's still on the last. Junior Sau keeps it alive. Lance Ahaya. The kick comes infield.
Knock on. Well spotted by Silverwood.
Knock on.
Well, they were scrambling with the Australians. It's the first real danger sign.
There'll be the turnover. And chance for Petro Civoniceva and co to catch their breath.
Well, Cameron Smith's been around a long time. He knows that just steady things down now. Use the big forwards. Boy, that was a big hit there.
Move! Up! Hold! Go!
Dean Young felt that. That is for sure.
Dean Young, another of the debutants for Australia.
40!
Cronk with the kick. Good deep one. Lance Ahaya having to turn and retrieve that, and when he turns round, there's the green and gold waiting for him.
Oh, now! Hold! Go!
Some of the
Straight up, Dave!
early frenzy has gone out of this game. But a great night to be at Eden Park. Rugby League returning to this famous old ground. It's been massively redeveloped in time for the Rugby World Cup. It's very much a night of testing for the stadium. They wanted a big crowd, and great to see that they've got it, and they are enjoying this contest so far.
They were in fear, though, Bill, of it turning sour, wasn't it, when the Australians went to an 18-2 lead.
Here's Marshall, great ball out wide. Kenny Dowell's ball into Mannering. Mannering keeps it alive and into Australian hands.
Hold the 10.
Sheer panic. They knew they had to do it. Keep the ball alive. But it was Dean Young that came to the rescue. Oh, that's great defence. They may have fallen asleep for a while, the Kiwis, but Marshall offloads. Super stuff. And then it goes straight into the hands of Dean Young.
Big hit from Jeremy Smith there. Oh, and a fumble from Todd Carney. And Carney is clattered. And the Kiwis, with 5 minutes to go in this first half, have really upped the ante. Australia struggling to make progress. 5 tackles gone, and they're still inside their own 20. Needs to be a good kick. Bell to the boot from Cameron Smith, and into no man's land. It is a good kick, and Lance Ahaya retrieves it.
The pace of the game gives you some indication that these are the two best in the world. They are really throwing everything at each other at the moment.
Here is Junior Sau. Some debate in Kiwi quarters, in the Kiwi press, whether he was worthy of his place. Stephen Kearney keeping faith with him. Here is Isaac Luke now. Luke. That was looking threatening until he lost his grip. Marshall stabs the kick in. Nightingale will chase it. They'll get the ball back from the goal line dropout.
He was in two minds whether to let that ball go, but Darius Boyd did the right thing at the very last moment. Marshall's kick was superb. Look how it bounces away. You could hear Nightingale zoning in. He's slowly but surely getting back into this game.
Half-time approaching, and the Kiwis will be a lot happier going into the break. They won't be happy to see that scoreline, but they'll be a lot happier with the way they've responded to adversity, with the way that they've responded to Australia taking a grip on this game early on.
Well, they've responded, Bill, because they've had the ball. It's very simple. They've had a lot of sets, they've had plenty of field position, and they've been able to build some pressure on the Australian defence. And I think Tim Sheen's be reasonably happy the way Australia's defended.
I must say they've been very, very quick at the play the ball area. You know the qualities of Isaac Luke, but they are really shutting him down quickly.
As Luke, who was tackled there, here comes Greg Eastwood. Featured as a prop early on in this tournament for the Kiwis, coming off the bench here this evening. Good short ball from Feen. Taken by Pritchard. Eastwood again. Eastwood bursts through the first tackle. Eventually he's brought down by Matt Scott. That's the fifth. What's the kick like? Little grubber kick stabbed in. Ricochets on, picked up by Boyd.
Oh, there's a fight in the background.
Oh, and there is a fight in the background.
They're swinging, they're all coming in from all angles. Oh, Isaac Luke is trying to throw one. Todd Carney gets away. Missed him by a hair's breadth.
It started with Shillington and Isaac Luke, a little allowed contest, and then it spilled over to anybody who wants to get involved.
Well, he's pumped up, isn't he, Isaac Luke? Plenty of verbals there at the opposition. Come on, take me, he said, take me. I fear no one. And he's spot on.
Back up.
Straight into it. Shillington didn't miss either.
A mismatch in terms of size there, but little Isaac Luke not shirking the fray. The South Sydney man. Was he right for Richard Silverwood?
We wondered what sort of attitude these two sides would play, and I think you've got your answer. Rough and tough and fast and furious.
He's called out Shillington here.
Listen, mate, his reaction doesn't cause you to punch him in the face, okay? Mate, the penalty's going against you. Okay? It was only a push.
So Shillington gets his warning, and I think Isaac Luke will get a similar message.
Penalty, yeah. Mate, penalty's going to you, okay? But we don't need a push on him. Okay, mate?
It's just a push and shove.
Penalty's going here.
Satisfactory outcome for the Kiwis. Oh, how have they got the penalty?
That's amazed me. You could see Isaac Luke.
Because he said it was only a push. He said it was a push. He didn't deserve the reaction of 3 quick punches in less than half a second.
Yeah, but you can't just go walk around doing that. There's a push, and it was straight into the face.
Well, what about this?
They're going to the 2.
They're going to go for 2.
What's a huge call, this? A huge call. You're down 18-8.
I can't believe it.
2.5 minutes left on the clock, and you want to take 2 points. I'm staggered. I'm staggered.
And the Australians, Sean, they'll be nervous, they'll be jittery. They've just been involved in a fracas, and yet they're giving them time to calm down.
Well, the other thing too, Steve, is they've probably just had a 2-minute break. But even so, with 2.5 on the clock, and you know, the clock's winding down now, and there's a lot less. But I don't know. It's a strange decision.
I am with you.
Well, this isn't meant to be a rehearsal for the Rugby World Cup, you know.
It is a tactic that you see more often in rugby, isn't it? That rugby union, the side can chip away at the deficit by picking up the penalties, but there are more penalties given in a rugby union game than there are in a rugby league, so there is a degree of difference.
18-10, Australia leads. As the hooter sounds for the end of the first half. And The Kiwis get the 2 points, and the scoreboard looking a lot better than it did earlier on when this Australian side really ripped into them. But it's 18-10 at the break to the green and gold.
Yes, it's narrower than it appeared it was going to be at one stage in that first half. The Kiwis reeling from 3 sensational Australian tries. But how about the